Are we live? Welcome to another rendition of Too Early for This podcast. It's your host and moderator. I'm Krista Don One. How y'all living? I'm living swell. Hope everyone is having a very productive Tuesday morning. Now you're probably wondering, man, Chris, why you up so early? All right, look. Uh, when I first started Too Early for This podcast, this was the time I was going to set my live streams. I was going to do them around 4, maybe 5 o'clock a.m. Something for you to kick if you want to come in while it's live, while you're getting up in the morning. There's a lot of early birds out there that got to get their day going by going to work or whatever function they have going on. I thought this would be a good time, particularly on YouTube, when you're doing a live stream. And if you want to have a very popular or successful live stream, you have to understand that there's competition. All right. And a lot of these time frames, like, the evening and the late at night, or, the afternoons, they're chock full of interesting podcasts. And a lot of those podcasts have been doing it for quite some time. So they already got their fan base. There's no need to personally start a new podcast in those hours. So I thought that Too Early for This podcast should start around 4, possibly 5 o'clock, maybe 6 a.m. in the morning, and we get it crack-a-lacking. All right. So we got a good show today. Well, I got a good show today. I don't know why I keep saying we. But like I said, I know a lot of you guys are going to catch the re-air of this. So by all means, and let's go ahead and get into it. All right. So when I saw this on the interwebs, this was blazing on current events, particularly in the social media streets. We got Pantygate with Big Latto. Now, for those who've been living under a rock, allow your boy to explain. Big Latto is a rapper. The only two hits I'm familiar with Big Latto is the remix he did with Gucci Mane, Freaky Girl, as well as Big Energy. I kind of dig those two. Those are commercial hits. But, anything else that's in her, rotation, I stay past away from. I mean, I'm not saying that she's not talented. I'm just saying she's just not one of my fave 5. All right. But Big Latto got in the social media news for all the wrong reasons. Apparently, which the Barbs are these crazed, possessed Nicki Minaj fans. And if they feel like you don't have Nicki Minaj back, if they feel like you're not an ally to Nicki Minaj, then they're gonna treat you like an enemy. And that's what they're feeling with Big Latto. They as well as another rapper, and I forgot her name. They done doxed this other rapper. They done found her Addie, and they found her family. I think her sister got Down syndrome. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But with Big Latto, they found 2 pictures of Big Latto wearing 2 completely different outfits. But the sticking point is her lingerie, where her thongs or her panties, and they shown that she wore the same. It looked like she wore the same panties. Now, to me, I feel like this is a non-issue. I didn't really necessarily feel this an actual story. But this is blazing like a hot dumpster fire in the social media YouTube street. All right. And I felt like I should weigh in on this breaking news. Breaking news that just came down the news wire. Big Latto has been spotted wearing the same underwear. The same underwear? The same underwear. All right. So to me, this is a non-story. But when I checked out, and I wasn't really too much feeling the Barbs on Twitter or on Instagram. I didn't think this was a major story because, they uh, crackpot of investigative reporters had Lotto in two different outfits wearing the same draws. I didn't view that as a major story, but I felt like it became interesting and it became a story when Big Lotto tried to plead her case to the social media courtrooms. And the social media courtrooms are undefeated. Okay, let me tell you guys something. The social media, when you go trying to defend yourself on social media, you already done lost. All right. Social media courtrooms are rigged, they're fixed. You're not gonna get no justice in the social media courtrooms. It's just best for you to just get their laugh on, get their ha-ha kikis on, keep it pushing, move into the next thing concerning you, not necessarily dwelling on what social media has been saying about you. And social media is like it's like a fungus, all right? It spreads, all right? It'll move on to something else that they're going to talk about, which there was some other stories on social media that could have gotten that light, that could have gotten these people to be dragging other people. But since Big Lotto had to respond, she added fuel to this story. And now this story got legs, this story got wheels. And I feel like a lot of people are still going to be talking about this story when everyone gets up today. All right. That's how long this story is going to be marinating. All right. Just like her cookies marinating in those old drawers. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, I still feel like this is a non-story. But to me, when she tried to respond and she had her quote unquote receipts, she added more fuel to the fire to this story. Now this fire is burning and it's not gonna stop burning. And a lot of people are going to say, what are you talking about? Now, if you follow Big Lotto on Instagram, on her Instagram stories, she gave us a tour inside her personal confines in her personal room, opening up her personal drawers, showing the world her personal underwear. Okay. I feel like in life, there are a lot of things that exclusively personal to an individual. And I also feel like they should never see the light of day on social media. All right. And I feel like your underwear collection is personal. All right. But she had to come back and she wanted to speak for herself and challenge the barbs and challenge social media and plead her case in social media courtroom. And you're not going to get no justice that way. Social media courtrooms are rigged, fixed, and they're undefeated. They don't want to hear the truth. When a lie is more entertaining than the truth, particularly on social media, nobody's not feeling the receipts. But I feel like on Big Lotto's side, I feel like these receipts that she was showing on her Instagram story really corroborates what this narrative of social media is pushing about Big Lotto. All right. So she went into her dresser drawer, showed all her underwear, saying that, giving a shout out to Target. Shout out to Target. She said she gets her underwear at Target. A lot of, she talked about how much she paid for her underwear. $5. That's good. That's good in the hood. I feel like a Walmart have thongs for like $3 or $4, but when you're Big Lotto, you're Big Lotto. You can that budget, you can spend an extra dollar on inexpensive drawers. All right. So she opened her drawer and she had a video. She was talking through the video, and then she talked about how much she spent on her underwear. She showed all the different uh underwear, and they all pretty much look the same to me, but that's neither here nor there. And then she was showing the infamous underwear that people thought that she wore the same underwear twice. I think it's the leopard skin underwear, and she showed in her panty drawer that she had like a 4 or 5 pair of that same leopard skin underwear. But then she showed some leopard skin underwear that she didn't even remove the tags. And to me, that just exposed her. She exposed her damn self. Okay. Now, one could allude to when she found out that this story was burning up about her wearing the same underwear, she immediately got one of her assistants to go to Target. Now, this happened in the middle of the afternoon. This wasn't like she posted this video earlier in the day, like early in the morning, like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. She didn't post this video at 1 or 3 o'clock in the morning. She posted this video in the middle of the day. She had ample time to get her assistant to go to the nearest Walmart and just buy leopard skin underwear. All right. But I said earlier in this presentation, I believe at first this was a non-story, but when she tried to reply, she added fuel to this non-story, and now this non-story got legs. All right. And to me, I just felt like that was sort of staged. I felt like she got an assistant. She may done it herself, and went and got the same colored underwear and forgot that one of the underwear she still had the tag on it. Well, goddamn, you might as well just show the receipt where you bought these leopard skin underwear the day when this story was blazing hot and was a current. I felt like she tripped herself. She sort of kind of exposed herself. And to me, this non-story is going to continue on. I'm pretty sure Nicki Minaj is somewhere laughing. And I know Big Latto, in a closed environment around her personal friends, she's got to feel like she's got egg on her face. I mean, there was no need to respond to this. This is one of those type of situations when the the best you can do in a situation like this is say nothing. All right, just keep your life pushing. What's up, Dream? I didn't know you was up this early. I appreciate you coming to the podcast. I really do appreciate that. I did check out your video yesterday, your live stream yesterday. Coffee and cars. Guys, go check that video out. Of course, we all know a lot of live people are gonna come in a little bit later, as well as people are gonna watch the re-air of this. But go check out her channel. She got some great content on her channel. So, and we also got to push the smaller channels out there. Got to push the smaller channels out there, like myself. So help us get the movement going. So go check out Dream, subscribe to her channel, rate, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And can you do your boy a solid? Can you do your boy a favor? Do that for a while. Your host and moderator. I'm Krista Don One. All right. But back to this story. I felt like Big Latto, the best course of action is not say nothing and just move on with your life. Let everyone on social media have their shits and giggles, have their ha kiki, snapping their fingers under the table. Let them love back to you, Dream. Let them have their day. And that's why God created 7 days. All right, that was their day yesterday. Today you can start off a whole new day and just keep your life pushing. Okay, if I was a close friend to Big Latto, that's what I would have been saying to her. But for her to post a video on Instagram showing her panty drawer, and I've been around a lot of women and I've seen a lot of panty drawers. All right, you may see women have their favorites. All right, like the special Victoria's Secret panties that's got the butterfly in the back of it. There are some favorites, and I can even go as far as women's favorites. Sometimes they may buy another pair of them, or they may buy that same texture, but it's in a different color. But I've been around a lot of panty drawers, okay, and I just have never seen a woman that like leopard skin panties and buy an abundance of them. All right. Now, if she would have had leopard skins in different colors, I feel you on that. But I felt like it was a little bit staged. And I'm not saying that she wore those same drawers twice. She might like that texture. She may like leopard skin. and she may bought a second pair of underwear, but to go to the length of recording your panty drawer and showing it to the world, I think you're doing way too much. And just let them have their fun, let them have their cake and eat it too, and just do you. I mean, you're doing big things on your own. I don't think this is a non-story, but she gave this non-story gasoline and legs and wheels, and now people are gonna still be talking about the barbs are still going to be dragging her. And sometimes you're just going to have to let the internet have their fun, because the internet courts, to plead your case to the internet courts, is undefeated. It's staged, it's rigged. No one's going to believe you. And the lie, a lie is more entertaining than the actual truth. Remember that, folks. Just remember that, okay? Your boy had to learn the hard way himself. All right. I had to learn the hard way. We all had to learn this lesson. All right. So I don't think it's an issue, but I do feel like a Big Lotto, she did a little bit too much and probably got someone to buy some extra panties, to just prove to the world she doesn't wear the same drawers twice. Which, by the way, let's get into some relationship advice. Women out there, you can tell when you got a good man or a decent man, and it's by if you ever get a tour around their house when you're first in the introduction stage. And I'm gonna tell you, women out there, here's some signs to find out that if you got a man that's a good man, but a man that's interested in you, that cares about you. Uh, if you go to their house and they still have their trash and it's still filled in the kitchen, 9 times out of 10, that's not a good man. All right, he knew you was coming. He should have, emptied his trash, and that goes for if he picks you up and he's got trash, he got litter all in his car, he's got McDonald cups sitting in his car that he utilized 3 days ago and is still sitting in his car. You need to be careful about that guy. Okay, that guy's gonna have some bad hygiene, bad cleaning practices that some women are not going to accept, or it's going to be tolerated. But if you love him and if he's got that big energy, everyone knows what I mean by that. If you can tolerate that, that's cool. But I'm just saying, if he really cares about you, he would want to give you the best impression about him, particularly in your your introduction stages when y'all are dating. He's gonna make sure that house is clean. But however, is the flip side to that coin. You go and you somehow, check out his drawers or his closet, which I feel like that's too personal in the introductory stages. Okay, and if he catches you, that's going to give him red flags about you. Like maybe you like to get into people's business, but however, if you can low key do this without his knowledge or consent, and if his shirts and pants are neatly tucked away, they're neatly folded, they're color coordinated in the closet, it looks like you just came out of a movie. 9 times out of 10, he has a woman on the side. Okay, I'm just saying. All right. But back to the Big Lotto story, Pantygate. The Barbs were also dragging another female rapper, and they were dragging this lady. I think they dragged this lady more so than Big Lotto. They showed this lady's address. They even made videos of a lot of Barb's fans going to this rapper's apartment, trying to confront this rapper. They all her personal business is out there on social media. Her sister has Down syndrome. I mean, I understand about your fan base, but there's a difference between when you have a passionate fan base and a rabid fan base. And I feel like the Barbs are a rabid fan base that it's like a junkyard dog, okay, with no fear, off the leash, is allowed to run around the junkyard. And I just feel like Nikki should go to social media and just calm the Barbs down. But she never had a history of that. And when the Barbs sink their teeth into something, that's your ass, Mr. Postman. That's how the Barbs think. And it's very funny. And I think low-key Nicki Minaj is kind of messy. She likes mess. And the Barbs, she just let the Barbs go and let them ravage anyone that says anything slightly negative towards Nicki Minaj. If you don't pledge allegiance to the Nicki Minaj flag of the United States of the Barbs and to the Republic for which I stand, one nation under God, individual with liberty and justice for all. If you don't do that pledge to the Barbs or Nicki Minaj, they are going to run wild on you. And I'm just telling you guys, it's not a good look. It's just not a good look. All right. So we're gonna move away from Latto and Pantygate, Nicki Minaj and her toxic Barbs. We're gonna move away from that topic, and we're gonna talk about this Detroit rapper called TJ X6. We'll just call him TJ 69. All right. This story is started popping up and making its way and making its rounds on social media late in the evening. I got this story from Say Cheese Twitter account. They're tweeting this. Jordan Tower made a video on this story late last night, but I saw the tweet before Jordan Towers' video. Shout out to Jordan Towers. Go over there and subscribe to his channel. Has some good content. I've been a subscriber to him for years, so go check out his channel as well as The Dream. Tell him I'm Chris the Don One sent you. Now Jordan Towers ain't gonna know who the hell is I'm Chris the Don One. And The Dream probably gonna say the same thing. I don't know who Chris Don One is. He just comes in and taps in and watches my live streams and gives me support. Okay. But anywho, go check out those channels. And he was talking about this story. Now, allegedly, okay, we have to use the allegedly on this part of the story. This rapper, TJ, well, I'm gonna call him TJ, was wanting some adult fun and went to the streets to search for this adult fun and found this woman offering services. He solicited this woman rendering those services, went to her room and did the nasty, did collect on the services, but didn't have the money to pay for those services. And now this adult worker is made a short video, and TJ was caught. He was exposed. He's out here exposed for not only seeking the services of some adult fun, and not only paying for these services. And once the young lady rendered her services, now he's coming up with a sad story talking about he doesn't have the money. Now, it was like 5-6 seconds of this video. You can hear the lady in the background, and you can hear a glimpse of this rapper having some type of conversation with her. And he was just standing by the door, but the final 3 seconds, you see him. All right. Now he's not gonna do an R. Kelly and say it wasn't me. We did it on that girl. That was my brother. That was my cousin. It was you. All right. And that moment right there, he had the ability and the capability with a clear mind and a clear conscience to not engage in no conversation with this lady. But if you gotten to the point where you're out of the bed, you wanted to pay for a service for this lady, the services were rendered, and you're closer to the door, you have the capability to just simply just walk off. All right. But I felt like he was a little scared. He was a little scared. You can tell in the video he was a little scared because he didn't he was in an environment where he's not familiar with. He doesn't know what this lady is probably going to do. Maybe shoot him in the back, maybe this, that, and the third. But this lady thought it was a perfect opportunity to grab her iPhone, grab her Galaxy Note, or grab her Walmart phone, her Kroger phone, and make a quick video. The video started off kind of choppy and blurry. Then you saw the bed. You saw the bed where they was actually doing this, doing the nasty, rendering the services, and then you have a TJ by the door. He had the capability to just walk off, but maybe he was a little scared. He didn't know what this woman was going to do, and he could have just easily just left, and he wouldn't been on video. She probably had to run out into the hallway and catch his backside, and as he's walking down the steps or whatever. But he had the capability to escape that situation without being exposed. Now the video has surfaced, and now this video got legs, and now he's out here exposed. A Detroit rapper, struggling Detroit rapper, soliciting services to a adult worker, and once the services were rendered, he didn't. He at that particular time, after he got his off, after he got his glizzy off, after he shot up the club, okay, he said he decided at that particular time he didn't have the money. Now, there's a lot of layers to this story. I feel like this lady knew who she was getting in the car with. She knew, and I told you guys this: women are very calculated. They, their mind is going a million miles a minute. They can multitask and do 6 things and still be on point to the mission ahead. I think this lady knew low key that she, this guy walking up to her asking for services. She knew who he was at that particular time, and she was thinking low key as she was driving to her, as she got into his car or walking to her apartment. She knew that okay, this big time rapper in Detroit want to get these cookies. Oh my God. I know for a fact he's going to not only pay for my services, but I'm definitely going to get a huge tip to keep this quiet on the set. All right. This could be a story that I could be telling for years. Some of these, she's got all of this planned out, laid out before she gets laid out and stretched out on the bed. She rendered the services. She's thinking that, man, this guy's going to drop some significant money in her hands. He's going to pay a little extra. And then he tells her the unfortunate news that, hey, I ain't got it like that. I'm broke as a joke. Okay. I got an EBT card with minus $3. Now, one could assume he didn't have the money, but like I said, there's layers to this story. He probably would have paid for the services, gave her a tip. Now, this could be one scenario. I'm not saying this is the actual truth, but this could be one of the scenarios. All right. But he laid down with her, and those services were trash. Okay. Those services was trash. And he felt like, this girl is done talk big game, talking about she's got the wettest, her mouth game is on point. There's not a heifer in Detroit that's got better mouth game than me. Okay. It's gonna sound like a wash machine in this place. Okay. I'm gonna have you stretched out. Okay. She's just talking her ish. All right. And he gets to her apartment. Services were applied, and he viewed those services as trash. He viewed them services as trash juice, garbage juice. This is just garbage. I'm not paying for this. And then he comes with the story that he doesn't have money. Now, that's one scenario. Another scenario could be he actually didn't have the money, and he was just looking for some fun, some free, cheap fun. And once he got those services, he skedaddled. Okay, he ran out on her. You know how you get a taxi and you tell the driver to take you to X destination, and when you go to X destination, you try to run off on the tab. Okay, a lot of people have been in those situations. You ever went to a beauty salon or a barber shop, and you want to get your hair cut and you want to get your hair laid, and once the person do the job, you bail out on them, okay, because you just don't have the funds. All right, some people do that stuff. All right, this could be one of those situations that Tay J found himself in. He probably had the money, and he probably didn't have the money, excuse me, and he tried to bail out on that situation. But when people bail out of those situations, they don't have enough time to turn around and chop it up with you a little bit and this, that, and the third. So I felt like subconsciously he had a conscience and he was trying to explain to himself, but he sort of kind of lied to the lady and didn't want to embarrass the lady. And he probably had the money, but he's probably going, man, this is trash. I'm not paying for this trash. You're telling me you was going to rock my world. You told me, man, you had a whirlpool in your mouth, okay? You told me this was the juiciest cookies on the planet. They were moist. They were like Dunkin' Hines. And then when I didn't put the whole tip in. And, man, this stuff is trash, okay? I don't want to pay for it, all right? He would have been better off saying, I'm not paying for this. But, like I say, he didn't understand his surroundings. He didn't know if this girl had a weapon. He didn't know if this girl had a pimp or a boyfriend that understands that what she's doing out there in them streets. She's for the streets, by the way. And he just didn't understand the situation. He was trying to explain himself out of a situation, but he ended up getting exposed. Which, by the way, speaking of barbershop, this man, I don't know what he's trying to do with his hair, but it just looked like a sponge up there. It looked like just like a bird's nest up there. All right. So that story started blowing up a little bit on social media early yesterday evening. Say Cheese Twitter account has posted the video. I suggest you guys to subscribe to Say Cheese on Twitter and go check out this story. Jordan Tower talked briefly about this story on one of his videos. You can go check out his YouTube channel and check out that story. But if you want to see the actual video, you'll have to go to Twitter. Twitter, they show it raw and uncut. I mean, any type of video, okay? So go check that out as well, all right? So next story, we're going to keep this pushing and keep it moving. We're going to be talking about Robert Horry, all right? So Robert Horry is making the news, and this is more so on sports entertainment, not trending topics or anything, but he found himself escorted off the premises of a recent basketball game when he was cheering his son on, and one thing led to another. He got into a shouting match with the coach, calling the coach, saying that the coach sucks. The most toxic, explicit word. I watched the video, and all you can hear Robert Horry saying that the coach sucked. Obviously, he was a huge distraction, and they had to suspend the game briefly because Robert Horry, if he stayed in the stands and said the coach sucked, okay, that's one thing. But when he wanted the basketball court to know that, hey, I'm Robert effing Curry. I'm Robert effing Horry. I got 7 rings in this itch, okay? When I speak in volume, all right? I want to come down there and show my whole ass off to y'all out there. And he got on the stage. He got on the basketball court, made a complete fool of himself. They had to suspend the game, And then security came, security, and they escorted him off the premises. Now, TYT Sports, and I remember this story. They talked about this story, but they also talked about a story concerning Robert Horry, where he was at a basketball exhibition, and his son attended there, and he was the coach. All right, he was on the other side of the plexiglass. He was the coach, and there was a toxic fan that was spewing, was very hard on Robert Horry as the coach. The two finally met, and the guy was sort of aggressive. Robert Horry started to push the guy. The guy tried to take his backpack off to make it a fair one. He wanted those hands from Robert Horry. He was willing to render service to Robert Horry, but immediately he caught himself in a vulnerable position by taking his backpack off. And then Robert Horry proceeded the following: rinse and repeat, haymaker after haymaker. Now, the video stops there, and you couldn't actually see if he landed the punches because there was a crowd in front of them. But Robert Horry issued a statement. He said he was fighting the guy, but then he stopped momentarily because he would have had a lot to lose out of that situation, which is actually absolutely true. The only even if it's like this. The law doesn't care who starts it. They only is concerned of who got beat up the most. So that guy obviously got beat up the most. And Robert Horry is a quote unquote celebrity. And he would have lost more from that situation, possibly going to court, possibly being charged for a crime, possibly he have to go to a judgment court where they're going to reward the guy in question some money, even if the guy started it. All right, that's how it goes down in these streets. All right, but Robert issued a statement saying he stopped when he realized that he had more to lose by continuing to fight this guy. He also said that this guy is no stranger to his family or to himself. This guy always comes and ridicules his son as well as him as a coach, and they suspended that guy. Okay, because technically the guy is he's courtside, he's a fan, he's not a player. He's not the opposing coach. He's not media. Okay. So they suspended the guy. All right. And now Robert finds himself in the same situation as the guy. Now, Robert Horry is the fan, is the crazed fan on the bench. And he's calling the coach suck, which I don't see him getting in some heated issues. I mean, I don't think he's going to get into any trouble by saying the coach sucks, but I do feel like he's going to get in some little hot water by, delaying the game, going on the court floor. I think that's where the damage is done for Robert Horry, and they probably going to suspend him for a game or two. And this is going to affect Robert Horry's image. Because there's a lot of people on social media saying, "Man, what is going on with these old heads that were, that were athletes, these ex-athletes like Robert Horry, Shannon Sharp, okay? What's going on with these guys, okay? Matt Barnes, what's going on with these guys, all right? They're trying to channel their inner Pookie and Ray Ray. Now, those a lot of people were making this assumption, making this psychosis of Shannon Sharp, Matt Barnes, and Robert Horry. And one was this person was alluding to on social media that they've been their masculinity has been deleted out of them for doing by trying to become a media member. and they can't do what they did when they were players, talk their ish, talk trash to the referee. Now they're in a whole new arena where they're not the players no more. They are the media members. So now the same media members, when they were in their prime, when they were athletes, and they will belittle these media members, now they're in the media, and now people are belittling them, and they don't like it. Okay, Shannon Sharp definitely doesn't like it. Matt Barnes doesn't like it, and Robert Ory doesn't like it. Plus, on the strength of that, um, you know, they have to realize that those days are behind you. When you were in your prime, when you was numero uno, when you was the big man on campus, when you was reigning hell in the league, those days are behind you now. Okay, now you're an afterthought. A lot of these people that are watching and attending these games, that are supporting their teams, they don't really know you like that. They may understand that you were in the NFL, or you was in the NBA, or you was in Major League Baseball, but that's as far as it goes. I mean, they have no knowledge of your work or your history as a player when you was raising hell in the league. I mean, you're an afterthought. They're more concerned, they treat you as a media personality more so than an ex-jock. And I feel like it kind of rubs Shannon Sharpe, Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson, and Robert Ory the wrong way. Like this new group of fans, they didn't see you in your prime. Okay, and they're not going to do a quick Google check to see you in your prime. All right, they just treating you as you are right now, which is a media member. And it's kind of funny, and like I said earlier, it's kind of funny, but these individuals would mock the media personalities when they would do interviews with them when they were in their prime, when they were in the locker rooms. And I have heard them a time or two when they do interviews when they were in their prime, will belittle these media personalities, saying and have a perspective of the media personalities of underachievers. These guys that are in these media personalities. The reason why they're in media, because they used to be jocks, but they didn't have the talent to be professional athletes or collegiate athletes. I mean, if you was a collegiate athlete, they would have some sense of respect for you. But a media personality is a dysfunction of a person that tried an attempt to play sports but just wasn't good at it, but was good at talking about the sports. Okay, and when Robert Ory, Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes, Shannon Sharpe will be in those interviews, they would look down at those media personalities, and now they're the media personalities. Now this new crop, this new generation, they don't know you like that. They don't recognize you as being a dominant athlete in your prime. They don't respect you that way. They respect you more as a media personality, and it kind of rubs them the wrong way. Okay, I can sort of co-sign to that. I understand where they were getting at, but as far as them being they're media, now they're in media. And now these networks are telling them to peel it back a little bit. You're not a jock no more, and you're not in that arena no more. Now you are a media personality. You have to be more professional. You have to be more. You can be edgy, but you can't go over the edge. And it's kind of affecting their persona when they were jocks. Now they're ex jocks. Okay, a lot of these guys consider themselves, a lot of these guys feel like they can still play the game today. All right, and some of them have but it is what it is. So I hope Robert Ory escaped clean from this situation. I hope he learns a valuable lesson. Do unto others as they do to you. If you want people to respect you or your son, you're going to have to respect uh, them as well. You have to respect. Now, you was once a coach. You used to coach your son. I feel like there's some hard. I think him and this coach, there's some challenges between the two. I feel like there's a little animosity and a little bit of jealousy on Robert Ory's point from this advantage. Like, I should be courtside coaching them up. I should be the coach because I know what's the best interest for my son. And maybe the school said to themselves, well, if we allow Robert Ory to run the basketball program, is he's going to have the best interest for the school or is he going to have the best interest for his son? Okay. And sometimes those lines can blur a bit, but they made their decision. Robert Ory, he's gonna grow from this situation, and hopefully he doesn't find himself in these waters again. All right. But moving on from that story, we're gonna go into Amber Rose. Now, Amber Rose has been in the social media streets for the wrong reasons. Okay, she was on Drink Champ. She had a little incident with a rapper over there about some lyrics. This rapper was citing his lyrics, talking about women, and she didn't like it. Well, loosely women. She also been in the news that uh her boyfriend now dates Cher, now dating an older woman. Obviously and that really rubbed Amber Rose the wrong way. She also was in the news talking about, she did a podcast talking about men that she's not interested. Well, she's got a love-hate relationship with men because I feel like Amber Rose sees the writing on the wall. And this applies to Superhead, and we're going to talk about Black China, about her being pregnant by a 25-year-old man. I mean, Black China is damn near close to 40. All right, but that's neither here nor there. I think those individuals see the writing on the wall. No man their age is going to uh, want to marry these women because of their incidents in the past. My mama used to tell me a saying, son, it's not what people don't base their judgment and opinion on what you say. They base their judgment and opinion on the actions of what you do. And if you look at the actions and behavior of an Amber Rose, let's just start with Amber Rose. Amber Rose is, if you go by her actions, she's not a woman that's totally invested in uh, a, a relationship, a long-lasting relationship. When you get a certain age, okay, you have to leave behind the club and party scenes. You have to leave behind the bachelor or the bachelorette life. Now you're at an age where you need to find you a soulmate. You need to find you a partner that loves you for you, okay? Not what you did in the past, not because what you can do in bed, but respect you on all levels. And a lot of high value men, just a lot of men in general, have looks at the behavior and action of an Amber Rose, and they come to the conclusion of, this is not a trustworthy woman. This is not a woman I want to marry and be with for the rest of my life. Have kids, have and our kids have grandkids. This is not a woman I want to invest in. All right. So any eligible bachelor, no matter young or old, that can lose a lot of respect, can lose a lot of their reputation, and also can lose a lot of what they've been working on thus far by pairing up with an Amber Rose. I think Amber Rose, Black China, Superhead. I feel like all women like that see the writing on the wall, and they see that, and even Lala Anthony echoed these same sentiments. Men do not want to boo up those types of women. They just simply don't. Now, those type of women are interested in, I mean, they don't mind. Now, any man wouldn't mind sticking the salami in them. Any man wouldn't mind having a couple of nights of passion or a couple of nights of a good time, taking them out and about and this, that, and the third. But that's as far as it's going to go. You know, when you're dating, there's a behavior mechanism for a man and a woman. Now, it starts off as being playful. It starts off as getting to know one another. Um, and you start, and that's sort of the building blocks on moving forward. All right. It starts off as, playful. It starts off as dating. Then it starts getting a little bit serious as boyfriend and girlfriend. And then the end of the road is marriagehood. Okay. You now you want to be tied down to this man, to this woman. But women like Amber Rose, she understands that any man that's worth their is worth anything is knows for a fact to stay away from an Amber Rose, from a Black China, from a Superhead, from a Lala Anthony, from a Laura Harvey. These women are never going to find Mr. Right, because Mr. Right is searching elsewhere. Any man that's high value, any man that has that's got control of life, they want they want a woman, and they want to be in a partnership with a woman that has the same core, the same values as him, well, as them. And a Amber Rose, a Black China, a Laura Harvey, they look good on your arm. A Superhead, they all look good on your arm. They all are good enough to have a good time with. They all look good to take them to bed and have sex with, and be, but not romantic with them, but have sexual activities with. But that's as far as it goes. You're not trying to boo these women up. You're not trying to put a ring on their finger, because they're not marriage material. They're not worthy of that next level. Now, a lot of men, even high value men, even below high value men, they wouldn't mind hitting it. They will hit it, but then they will quit it. But ultimately, they want to be, if they're interested in marriage, they want to marry a woman that they're in love with, that they respect, and want to grow old with, because that's the end of the road in a relationship. Yeah, like I said, it starts off playful, starts off innocent and playful, then it starts off as boyfriend and girlfriend, then it starts off as being in an apartment. But then after a while, there's an expiration date of that to, okay, let's put a ring on her finger, okay, because that's the end. That's the end goal. Women like Laura Harvey, Lala Anthony, uh, Black China, Amber Rose, Superhead. These women are never going to experience that. Okay, I was watching a video of this lady. She was an African American woman who was in journalist. She used to work for CNN, and she chose having a career than trying to find Mr. Right. And she was a workaholic. She's got diplomas, degrees. She's been nominated as being the best reporter, had, did one-on-one interviews with a lot of influencers, a lot of people out there. career-wise, she was extraordinary. Career-wise, she's at the top of the plateau. But personally, she never had time to find Mr. Right. And then ultimately, what happens? You're a workaholic when you're young, but now when you're older, you're sort of off the market. And you just there's not a real strong market for an older woman, a workaholic. And now she wanted to have kids, so she ended up freezing her eggs. And I mean, it shows the good and bad when you choose and the women. And I feel a lot of sympathy for women when they have to choose either flourishing in your career or trying to find Mr. Right, because the two can't be associated together. It's like oil and water. It just, the rules don't apply. And that's why I have a lot of sympathy for a lot of women out there. It's hard to be a woman. It's hard to be a very successful entrepreneur woman because it just takes a lot of time. With men, it's and with men, it's easy for them to be an entrepreneur and they sort of just fall into the relationship. And with men, they don't have to invest a lot of time, a lot of emotions as far as cultivating a relationship. All a man has to do is just maintain it. All right. Just maintain the relationship. If you truly value and respect that woman, you're gonna figure you're going to sort of maintain the relationship. You are in love, but you're not really investing emotionally in the relationship like a woman does. Okay, a woman has to invest a lot of emotion in it. She's going to invest a lot of time in it. She's going to do this, that, and the third. I mean, she's investing a lot in this relationship more so than a man. Then the two of them can both love one another, but it's just not a lot of investing for the man. He just has to be there and invest little to it, but still he can go to work and uh, 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 be big out there. For a woman, and like I said, I hate to say this, women are going to be turned off and rubbed the wrong way. What I'm about to say, but it is a man's world. In the business world, it's a man world. It's a dog eat dog type of mentality. All right, and I just feel like women that they don't, you know, I feel like women can coexist in that world, but it's very beneficial for a man in a business world to be very successful and have a very healthy relationship at home versus a woman. She's trying to being successful. It's like she has to pick and choose. Okay, do you want to be very successful in business or you want to have the love of your life? All right, it just works differently for men and women. But going back to Amber Rose, she's never going to find. She's off the market as far as any eligible bachelors, and she's always going to, or any high value man that's even her age in her age group is not going to be interested in an Amber Rose. So she's always going to be lined up with, she's always going to be lined up to younger men who's trying to figure their way out, who may not be very successful or very popular, or may not have the money like a Kanye West or Wiz Khalifa or 21 Savage. But he's young, that can got that good stroke game, good enough to please you in bed, but in a relationship, you're Amber Rose is going to be the head honcho. She's going to be the big man on campus, and you're just in the relationship with her. Okay. And that's going to last as long as he's interested in being number two. Once he grows up a little bit, he's going to say, wait a minute, I need to find a woman that's in my age group, that's my peer, that's willing to grow old with me. I'm not going to be able to grow old with an Amber Rose. And they exit stage left, or they try to find another older woman that's got deeper pockets that can support their quote unquote rap career or lifestyle. All right. So That's what Amber Rose was in the news for. She was also in the news because she took social media and she basically said she will do anything for Super Bowl tickets. Now, somewhere, somewhere out there's going to be a simp that's going to apply and give her Super Bowl tickets. All right. She said she's willing to play around in your whole region where you dispose waste. She's willing to grab a couple of your twigs and berries, and she's willing to do anything for Super Bowl tickets. And when you say that on social media, yeah, uh, a lot of simps are lining up now. Now she's making it into a contest. It's gonna be a lot of simps out there that's going to give her those Super Bowl tickets with no problem. But there's a flip side to this coin, and you have to look on the other side of the plexiglass to say, okay, yeah, you're getting what you want now, but what about down the road when ultimately you're going to get older and your body's not going to look like it looks now? Your beauty is going to fade a little bit. And like I always tell you guys, there's always a big booty chick premiering every summer. There's always going to be a big booty chick that's going to be younger than you, look better than you, fresher than you, and that's going to be your competition. All right. So yeah, Amber Rose got the enhancements, but how long are those enhancements going to preserve your beauty? Eventually, you're going to get older, and then you're going to grow old out of this market. And yeah, your name ring bells now, but what about 5 years from now? Okay, are you going to get those same type of are you going to get that same type of attention? So Amber Rose said that she's willing to do anything for Super Bowl tickets. I'm pretty sure there's a simp out there that's willing to do that. I don't feel like any eligible bachelors are going to pay this no mind. They're going to consider this as nonsense. Anybody that's got a brand like a LeBron James or even a Kanye, Kanye West has moved past Amber Rose. He upgraded immediately. He replaced Amber Rose with Kim Kardashian, and now he done replaced Kim Kardashian with a couple of younger models. So someone like Kanye West is not interested in the Amber Rose. I think Wiz Khalifa is definitely not interested in an Amber Rose, and 21 Savage was done with Amber Rose. I don't think she's going to be able to uh, capture magic in a bottle and get those type of individuals, but she's going to get the stragamuffins. She may not get a B type of influencers, but she'll get a few C's, a couple of D's, a lot of F type influencers that has a little recognizable appeal to them on social media, but not as big as when she was in her prime. The type of men that she was pulling, she's unable to get those men. All right. Funny thing about men and women, if you're a very successful man, you could be overweight, bald headed, you can have a gut, you could be short, but as long as you're very successful in the business that you do, and long as you're, as long as you're making the money, as long as you have a successful business, as long, you don't have to be recognizable. You're still going to be able to pull, like if you're 40 and 50, you'll still be able. A man 40 or 50 can still be able to push a woman that's in her 20s. All right. And a woman in her 40s, she has to do a lot of upkeep. She's got to snap that body in shape. She's got to get the BBL. She's got to, look good, dress good, to be appealing for not only men her age, but even younger men. Okay. And, like I always tell you guys, there's always a big booty chick premiering every summer. Best believe that. Every summer, there's always a big booty chick. So it's just too much competition out there for an Amber Rose, a Lala Anthony, a Superhead. Okay, it's just too much competition. All right. So yeah, that's all I got to say on the Amber Rose will do anything for Super Bowl tickets. Which by the way, the Super Bowl is going to be popping. It's We're gonna have Super Bowl with two African American quarterbacks. I think it's going to be a good game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. If the Kansas City Chiefs win this Super Bowl, they have a dynasty. Okay, they're the new big man on campus. A lot of people felt like Kansas City was going to struggle a bit because they traded Tyreek Hill, and they're proving otherwise. They're still moving on all cylinders. All right. And I feel like this is gonna be an interesting Super Bowl. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I'm gonna give you my predictions. It it can still go Kansas City winning this Super Bowl and start and becoming a dynasty. That easy, that simple. But I also feel like Philly has an opportunity to win this Super Bowl. They have a better defense than Kansas City. They don't have a better offense than Kansas City. But if they're able to slow the game down, I think Philly has an excellent chance of winning a Super Bowl. And a lot of the naysayers of Jalen, the quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, a lot of them are going to be eating crow because a lot of people when the Philadelphia Eagles drafted him, a lot of people had their concerns. Jalen Hurts, a lot of people had a lot of their concerns of Jalen Hurts. Now Shannon Sharp is now singing the praises of Jalen Hurts. Now, he's in the corner of Jalen Hurts. But when he first came out, Shannon Sharp even alluded to he just didn't see Jalen Hurts flourishing with the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay. But now, with this small sample size, a lot of, he's doing extraordinary things for the Philadelphia Eagles. And it seems like the Philadelphia Eagles made the best decision on drafting Jalen Hurts in the first place. So I'm just saying this can go either way. It can really go Kansas City winning this, and now they're going to be the big man on campus. They're going to create a dynasty in Kansas City. It can literally go that way, but I'm for Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. I feel like that defense is good, as long as they can bend but not break and slow the game down and keep Patrick Mahomes out of scoring a lot of touchdowns. As long as they keep it close and not high scoring, they have an excellent chance. All right, that's all I'm going to say on that. And speaking of Jalen Hurts, and I forgot about this, Dwayne Wade, wife Gabrielle Union, had a girls' party, and they were all just blushing over Jalen Hurts. Okay, and that made social media for a bit. A lot of people are calling Dwayne Wade a cook, a simp, and he needs to put his foot down in that relationship. And a lot of weird things is coming from their relationship. A lot of stuff that's going on in their family is Gabrielle Union is endorsing it, and it just seems like Dwayne Wade is just following along. Okay. But I thought that was kind of weird. DJ Envy uh wife, and I forget, I had her name on my mind, but I lost it. Uh she's on a girls trip for 20 days. That's damn near a month, folks, with her girls out and about, having the time of their life, doing whatever they want to do. And DJ Envy is cool with that. Now, I feel like DJ Envy's relationship is a little bit different. Ever since he got caught out there cheating on his wife, I feel like his wife accepted him back because realistically, and like I say, women are highly intelligent. Don't get it twisted and confused. A woman is never going to turn down a good situation over her emotions. A smart woman, all right? So if you not familiar with the story, DJ Envy was cheating on his wife and with some video vixen, some Instagram model. I forgot her name. It doesn't really matter. I think she ended up marrying Safari, but that's neither here nor there. Uh, and he got caught out there, and he was basically publicly apologizing to his wife. Did several interviews with his wife in the room, admitting that he cheated. He apologized, and I felt like she had something on him, and ever since then she's been not only the guts and glue of the relationship, but ever since he got caught out there lacking, cheating on her, now their relationship is where she has a say so in the relationship, more of a say so in the relationship. I shouldn't say a say so in the relationship. I feel like in every relationship a man and a woman should have say so, but I feel like she has more of a say so because of the era of DJ Envy, because he got caught cheating, and he deserves whatever he gets because he created this environment. He created this what he's going to have to deal with. And a lot of people on social media is viewing him as a simp. He's weak. He's weak minded. You know, you can look at it that way, but I really do think he loves his wife and he's willing to do anything for his wife. I can look at it. I can look at it completely different than anyone else can look at it. And I really think he really does love his wife. He really does love his family, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to keep his wife and keep his family. All right, they have a podcast together. They wrote a book together, and that's why and he's willing. And he's trusting her because she trusts him when he was out, and she said this in several interviews. She trusted DJ Envy when he do these car shows or when he goes to the club and do these appearances and things of that nature. She trusted him while she was at home taking care of the kids. So DJ Envy is going to have to trust her going on this girls trip for 20 days. And that's the dynamics of their relationship. And I feel like if you trust your significant other, shouldn't be a real issue, shouldn't be a problem, particularly when your significant other caught you cheating on her and she accepted you back. DJ Envy also knows a good thing when he sees one himself. I mean, if his wife would have gone on the market, I feel like there would have been a slew of men trying to grab her off the market. Okay. Because she don't consider herself for the streets. She's not into that thought stuff that, this, that, and the third. I think she's a homebody. She's an entrepreneur, and she's kind of classy with it. So there would have been a lot of men out there that would love to be in a relationship with her. And she's very attractive, and I feel like DJ Envy knows that, and that's why DJ Envy it's okay with DJ Envy for her to take to be off for 20 days. It is what it is. All right. So yeah, that's one. I know a lot of people are looking at that as that he's simping and he doesn't have no control in the relationship. He's willing to do going back at Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade, they may have a dynamic that way, but I just don't feel it when I look at their relationship. And like I said, I'm looking on the outside looking in. I don't know these people personally, but from the outside looking in, I feel like DJ Envy's relationship with his wife is a little bit more healthier than Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade. Okay, which is kind of funny. Dwayne Wade was married, cheated on his wife with Gabrielle Union, and now divorced his wife, took the kids, and now he's with his side chick, and now he done married her. And now she's it just seems like she's trying to right the wrongs Dwayne Wade did. And now Dwayne Wade is just simply applying just to have a healthy relationship. At the end of the day, folks, look, happy wife, happy life. Okay. There's some things you're just going to have to deal with. All right. There's trust. If you got trust issues with your wife, then maybe that shouldn't be your wife in the first place. If you got trust issues with your husband, then maybe that shouldn't be your husband in the first place. I'm just putting that out there. But like I said, women know a good thing, a good situation when they see one, and some women will tolerate or if she has trust issues, she will put it to the side because she knows a good comfortable situation when she sees one, and vice versa for men as well. Okay, the same rules apply for men. All right, but moving on. All right, so this is the part where I already talked to you guys the news, some little small sample, bite-sized news and notes. This is the part right there here where I would like to read your guys' comments. The dream came in. She's showing love and respect. Go subscribe to her channel, by the way. If you catch the re-air of this presentation, go subscribe to her. As well as subscribe to me. Hit the notification bell, select all for the dream as well as myself. I'm not sure if she's got a live stream locked up for today, but just go check it out. And just support small channels. Support small channels because we need the love. Okay, I know that you got your favorites. I know you got your popular channels like the Joe Buttons. I know you got your popular channels like the Lead Attorney, O'Shea, O'Shea. I know you got all of your favorites, but sprinkle some small channels in between your favorites. Okay, so go support your small channels. It's what people don't believe this, but YouTube, small channels are the guts and glue of YouTube. If it wasn't for the small channels, people wouldn't be coming back to YouTube to check out the bigger channels because the bigger channels don't roll out content every single day. The small channels sort of fill in the gaps, the gaps where the larger channels don't. There's some larger channels that don't upload content, like they'll upload content like maybe once or twice a week. All right. There's a lot of small channels out there that will upload content constantly. All right. So go support the smaller channels. All right. Just that's all we're hoping for. The smaller channels. I like Damn D Live. I like his content, even though I feel like Damn D personally, I think he's stretching this Sister T and Queen Regina thing. I stopped checking out those live streams and videos months ago. I mean, it's funny. It was funny. It was entertaining, but it's time to move on. Now he's dabbling into Kwame Brown. I think Kwame Brown doing the Pivot podcast, I think that was extraordinary for Kwame Brown. That's going to launch him into a bigger atmosphere, and then everybody that were you know Kwame Brown supporters is only going to make their name grow. It's only going to make their brand grow. Carcino for life. I mean, he's cool. I don't have no issues with him. It just seems like it's Kwame Brown and Carcino for life. At one point of time, Sister T was a huge Kwame Brown supporter. Now, not so much. Same could be said for Queen Regina. It got to the point where Queen Regina and Sister T had the ear of Kwame Brown, and Kwame Brown friend them. And now, if you look at these two women, that was basically just clout chasers. They wasn't interested in Kwame Brown the person. They was interested in Kwame Brown's YouTube channel and how his channel was going to ultimately jumpstart their channels. All right, now Sister T's channel is blowing up. Queen Regina, she would dabble in her channel, but not so much. Now she's doing some live streams and videos and things of that nature. But Kwame Brown is doing extraordinary things ever since he did that Pivot podcast interview. If you haven't watched it, go check it out, by the way. Great interview from Pivot. I think that was one of their masterful interviews thus far from the Pivot podcast. I subscribe to the Pivot podcast YouTube channel. And I feel like that's one. I think that's one. I think that interview was in the top five, in my opinion. Now, their biggest interview is there to get a full understanding to everyone out there why they separated from I Am Athlete. And I did a video on that, and I explained to you guys the differences between the founding members of the Pivot Podcast and Brandon Marshall and I Am Athlete podcast. And I explained to you guys, basically those guys felt like the I Am Athlete podcast wasn't, they wasn't going to invest a ton of money or time. And they just didn't think it was going anywhere. Now I Am Athlete is on satellite radio. They're on I forgot that guy. I forgot his satellite radio. It'll come to me when I keep talking. And now it's internationally known. I feel like they, but I do feel like more recently the I Am Athlete podcast, the guests, they haven't been getting a lot of interesting guests, in my opinion. All right. I think Club Shay Shay is stealing some of their. I think Club Shay Shay has some extraordinary guests. I think Club Shay Shay, Shannon Sharp not only dabbles in sports entertainment, but just entertainment in general. And he continues to get the great guests. The Pivot podcast gets some decent guests. But I think I Am Athlete needs to explore more than just former athletes or current athletes. They need to get into other fields as well. But yeah, they those guys, Ryan Clark and them, they just viewed the Pivot podcast. The I Am Athlete podcast. They felt like they had a sense of they was not going to totally own the I Am Athlete podcast. And when the I Am Athlete podcast started blowing up and started getting those numbers, started getting that recommendation, now everyone wants to come in and say, okay, now I want to invest in it. And Brandon Marshall had every right to say, no, y'all should have been investing into this podcast day one. Don't wait until it blows up. And now it's getting some international love, and now it's doing this, that, and the third, and they get these deals. Now all of a sudden you guys want it to get in the ground floor. You should have gotten into it day one. Don't wait till later on. But I feel like sometimes situations like that is very beneficial. The outcome's going to be very beneficial for not only the two parties, but for the fans out there. So now we got two podcasts that we can leapfrog off one another, the I Am Athlete and the Pivot Podcast. I think they're extraordinary shows. Okay. I'm going to try to stretch this out into 2 hours if I can, as long as I keep cranking topics. But love to see someone comment in the comment section on anything you guys want to talk about. Also, go check me out on Twitter. I got a poll going up. Well, I had a poll. It's going to last for like 5 more days. I need you guys to vote. All right. I think I only got 3 people to vote. And still, I just want to figure out what's the next thing I should be exploring and talking about on the next Too Early for This podcast. Even though I told you yesterday, guys, that I'll see you guys Wednesday, but I felt like the news that went down last night would have gotten a little bit old for me to talk about Wednesday. So I felt like let's go ahead and get this cranking and get it popping, and we'll talk about it at that point of time. Okay, but yeah, I feel like those two podcasts. While we're on podcasts, I feel like the new Joe Budden podcast with Melissa Ford and I forgot that little short fat dude's name. God, man, how can I forget this? Queen, I think his name is Queen Bridge, Queen Radio. Whatever his name is. Adding them with Ice and Ish and Joe Budden. A lot of people, when they first heard this announcement, a lot of people had thoughts and concerns saying, well, that's too many people on one panel. All right. There's no way in the world that it's just too many cooks in the kitchen. And after watching a couple of episodes or a couple of segments, uh, I feel like they got something. I think they got something good by expanding um the host. I mean, well, the host, not only you get to hear Joe Button's point of view, but you get to hear Ice and Ish point of view. You also get to hear Melissa Ford sometimes point of view, and Queen Flips. Queen Flips. I just figured out his name. You get to hear his point of view. I feel like Queen Flips, out of all of them, I feel like Queen Flips is going to keep them in the social media culture, the hip hop culture, and he's a little bit messy. And sometimes adding a little mess to your podcast can be a good thing. Not a lot of mess, but a little mess. And I think Queen's Flip can provide that type of entertainment for people out there that want to hear the messiness. All right. Melissa Ford, she'll have a take here and there. Melissa Ford can be like a moderator. She can sort of keep the conversation interesting or move from topic to topic. But Melissa Ford, and there's gonna be certain topics where she's going to flourish, because there's a lot of topics out there that only a woman can talk about. So having a woman on the panel can only make the panel better. And Melissa Ford is still attractive. She's a beautiful woman. Particularly when you watching Joe Budden. So that's the eye candy right there for the horn dogs and the horny guys out there. She's not bad on the eyes, but she can also bring more than just her looks to the panel. I think there's gonna be a lot of topics when they dabble into topics that only a woman can relate to. Melissa Ford can provide that insight. Ice and Ish, even when Ice and Ish took over for Rory and Mal, Ice and Ish would sort of, it'd be like certain episodes where Joe Button would be talking, and then Ice and Ish would co-sign to the conversation, not necessarily to agree with Joe Button, but they wasn't necessarily they're not really conversation starters where wherever Joe Button is going. They have people. They have people that, and I forgot the tall white guy. I forgot his name. But like I always say, the more I talk, I'm gonna start remembering these guys. And you guys know I butcher names on a constant, consistent basis. But you know, he will bounce ideals. Joe Budden will say what's going on, what happened, with his life, and what he did last night, or what was interesting to Joe in Joe Budden's world. But Ice and Ish would just sort of bounce off whatever conversations. They're not conversation starters. Let's just put it that way. And I felt like adding Queen Flip, he's a conversation starter. So, and he understands the mechanisms of Joe Button. Melissa Ford can sometimes come off as a conversation starter, but overall she's real quiet, and she only talks when something's interesting to her or if they ask her a question. But she can be a conversation starter. Ice and Ish, they're I mean, they're not conversation starters, but they're still entertaining. All right. And then of course you always got Joe Button. Joe Button is going to be the alpha of whatever. And it just goes to show. And a lot of people don't give Joe Button his flowers. And I'm gonna go ahead and give Joe Button his flowers. Joe Button has the personality where he can just mix with anybody in the room. And Joe Button is the type of person that can check the temperature of the room. He knows when to insert himself, and he knows when to just play the sidelines. All right. He knows when to talk a lot. He knows when to talk very briefly and very little, throw out some subliminals here and there. And not a lot of people can do that. Not a lot of people can do that. I definitely can't do that. Not a lot of people can do that, where they can just blend. They can either blend in and still have an interesting conversation, or take control of the conversation and it still be an entertaining conversation. Joe Budden can do that. Okay. Not a lot of people can do that. And there's a reason why Spotify wanted to give the Joe Budden podcast all that money. And there's a reason why, you know, the Joe Budden podcast is more valuable with Joe Budden than Rory and Mal. Now, you know, everyone was picking sides, and now Joe Budden is not good business wise. I feel like Joe Budden should let his agent handle the business side of things. Joe Budden is also not a very, when the cameras are off and when they stop rolling, he's not very sociable, and sometimes that rubs people that work for him the wrong way. I feel like he's not good that way. But when the cameras are rolling and when they're recording, that's when you get the best of Joe Budden. He can be irritable sometimes when the cameras are off. He can be stoic sometimes when they're not filming or making the episode. He's just simply plain old Joe. But you have to understand he's an extraordinary talent, and talent like that don't grow on trees. All right. So there's a reason why Joe Budden has been flourishing even without Rory and Mal. Now there have been some setbacks. He has stumbled a little bit, but people don't give him his flowers. And I think Joe Budden is one of those unique type of personalities that can thrive in any room, because he checks the temperature. He knows the temperature in the room. Okay. But like, Rory and Mal, they're doing their thing. They're talking about whatever they want to talk about, and Joe Budden is doing his thing. All right. And like I said earlier, like with the I Am Athlete and the Pivot podcast, sometimes breakups are good for everyone. All right. Breakups are good. That breakup was good for Joe Budden. That breakup was good for Rory and Mal. And it's good for the fans. If you are fans of those three guys, you can still be fans of them. They're just on different platforms. They're on different channels. And I always thought that Rory and Mal should have started a channel ages ago when they was with Joe Budden. And now Joe Budden alluded to he had no issues with them starting their own podcast or doing their own thing, but he wanted them to do it under the umbrella of Joe Budden. And maybe that was the sticking point with them too. They probably say, look, I don't mind doing a podcast, but I don't want to premiere it on the Joe Budden channel. I want to premiere it on my own channel. Now, when he had those two women, I forgot those two women that was on the Joe Budden network. When Joe Budden was in his network bag, when he was trying to get off a lot of podcasts under the Joe Budden channel, when he was in that bag, he had two women and I forgot their names. I do apologize. And now they're gone. He allowed them to go and be free and do their own thing. I think they still have their own podcast, but they also do interviews on other podcasts. But the number one topic with these women is not what the content that they have made thus far. It's not them together. It's more so their relationship with Joe Budden, and how there was another woman that was supposed to premiere with them, and she was complaining about Joe Budden. They just want to hash out those type of stories versus the women that they have on these interviews. So hold on one second. Let me pause for a second. All right. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, it was very beneficial for the fans. And sometimes breakups can be a good thing. It could be an extraordinary thing for the fans. If you're a fan, you're still going to continue supporting both podcasts. You know, you don't have to pick a side necessarily. You can still support both podcasts. Now you're just getting double the content. And that's how I view the I Am Athlete and the Pivot podcast. And that's how I viewed Joe Button and Roy and Maul when they went their separate ways. But, you know, it is what it is. But moving on. So I want to take time out to let you guys know, uh, please support this podcast. Please support the channel. Okay. Uh, it'd be great if you like the videos, if you like the live streams. It will be very extraordinary beneficial if you send this content to your friends, family, and followers, and then they do the same, and then their friends are going to do the same, and those friends are going to do the same, because it really helps the growth and development, not only to this channel, but to this podcast. It gets me in the YouTube algorithm. It also helps the growth and development of smaller channels that come by, like The Dream, like others who have channels. And it also recommends their channel. It recommends their videos. It recommends their live stream. So it has a eternal effect for not only me, but for anyone else out there who's a content creator that comes by, support the channel, chops it up, likes the video, share it with their friends, family, and followers. So it's mutually beneficial to not only to me, but it's very beneficial for you if you're a content creator, or if you indulge in content uh like this. It'll recommend not only my channel and my live streams and my videos, but other channels and their live streams and their videos. Okay. um so yeah, I wasn't going to do this on too early for this podcast, but I normally do it on I'm Krista Don One podcast. That's my podcast for iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast indulgement from, whatever app you use to listen to the audio version of podcasts, uh, the Anchor app, whatever. Just type in I'm Krista Don One. Time you type in I'm Krista Don One, it's only one channel, I'm Krista Don One podcast. All right. And I normally do this for that podcast. I've been reviewing The Last of Us. I just watched the third episode yesterday, you know. And one thing I wish I, the only gripe I have with HBO Max and The Last of Us is they want to premiere it at a time slot when a lot of these services, these paying apps, they just go ahead and premiere it that day. Like if it premieres on Sunday, excuse me, if it premieres on Sunday, it'll just premiere Sunday morning, and you can get the chance to. Now I understand why they premiered it. They premiere it on Sundays, but they premiere it at 9 o'clock at night, and I kind of get the understanding. I get a full understanding on why they premiere it so late. Therefore, people don't watch the episode, and then they go, particularly content creators, then they go to social media and tell you everything about the episode, and you haven't even got a chance to watch the episode. There's not a lot of people like myself that have this same rule of thumb. I don't spoil anything in the episodes. I kind of just talk about the episode. I don't necessarily talk about the details in the episode. You're still going to be able to watch the episode, and you're still going to, watch the episode. And I didn't tip you off anyway about the episode. But episode 3 was about a character in the video game. Uh, and this was the first time this was like this is the first time out of 3 episodes. And The Last of Us, which by the way, it's already renewed for season 2 after episode 2. So HBO Max knows they got to hit with The Last of Us 2, which by the way, when it premiered, it had 22 million viewers watching The Last of Us. That is huge. Okay. But uh the uh the the third episode, they this was the first time they took this tactic of telling a perspective of a character. You get to see the evolution of this particular character, and the whole episode was dedicated to this character who was in the video game, not the major character. And Joel and Abby were like the co-stars of this episode. You still get a full understanding of them trying to complete their journey. And I'm not going to go too far into that. But they're heading to this town, this one man town, uh, and trying to get contact with this individual to probably help them out, because now they're on their own and they have a long journey ahead of them. And as they're walking to this individual, then they start talking about this individual and the development of this individual, and how this individual had one thought of the world. But when this individual saves someone from a pit that he created, he could have easily just walked away and allowed the person to just stay in the pit, and that person had to figure out a way to get out of the pit. But uh, when he started talking to this individual, he started to build confidence and trust in this individual, and allowed the individual out of the pit, and then allowed the individual into his confines, where the individual was able to shower, get a good meal, get some wine, and then the individual understands that he's in a comfortable situation right here. All right. And it starts off that way, but then it starts to build into something more serious and more important. And I want to suggest anyone out there. Now I know there's people out there that that are saving these episodes, and they're waiting until the completion of the season, and then they're gonna watch all the episodes like a bender, so to say, just grinding through the episodes. And then there's some people that are actually watching these episodes and actually watching these episodes maybe at a later date. So I want to respect, you know, you guys who haven't watched the episodes yet, not go into full detail. I got a lot of people on social media liked episode 3. Now, there were some people that had the unpopular opinion, and they didn't like episode 3, and they thought episode 3 was a bore fest. But I felt like episode 3 had a lot of Easter eggs that was in the Last of Us video game. Now I want to say this one thing, and it goes almost at the end of this episode, where the camera sort of angles itself at an open window, and then the open window, there's a breeze coming into the room or coming out of the room. You get to hear a little nature in the background because the window's open, and you get to hear some music, uh, the soundtrack in the background, and it kind of harbors me back to the Last of Us video game. The Last of Us video game, that's the introduction before you even start the story. Well, start the story, the campaign, or the multiplayer, or the co-op. I don't think it had co-op. It was multiplayer and campaign, excuse me. And when you start the video game, you'll see this window and you'll see you'll have some music in the background and you have some effects in the video. And that's what, when I watch that episode and when I saw that scene, it reminded me of the video game. So there was a lot of Easter eggs in the Last of Us television show that harbors you back into the video game. And I thought it was a great episode. And I feel like the Last of Us uh is shaping up to be a great show. And for the people out there who haven't indulged in the video games or the novels or the books, um this it's not one for one with the video game, but I feel like it's an evolution of the story that was told in the video game, and they expanding on it, and it's a very interesting. Neil Druckmann executive produced the first two shows, and they finally starting to give him his credit, uh as far as his contributing to the Last of Us television show. So this is a great show, and it's only going to get better. It has nothing to do with The Walking Dead. There are moments in uh the episodes where you get a small, where you can sort of say, okay, that kind of reminds me of The Walking Dead, but it really doesn't. But you can get some sense of that reality. But if you watch all three episodes, it doesn't have anything to do with The Walking Dead. So I appreciate this show. I think HBO has a huge hit. I told you on my podcast, I feel like they're going to build on top of the Last of Us universe. It would not surprise me none if they do another show in the Last of Us universe. That they're going to do a show on that. Maybe have a show about the Fireflies. There are other characters that they can utilize to create another show. But if you played The Last of Us, and if you played The Last of Us 2, which, by the way, hold on. Which, by the way, I haven't played The Last of Us 2. And the reason why I haven't played The Last of Us 2 is because I felt like I got all my full understanding and my entertainment by just playing The Last of Us 1. I felt like that was a franchise that begin and ended with The Last of Us 1. I don't think you can tell any more from that story. Because I was interested in the story, and that's why I played the video game. Now, The Last of Us 2, now is Ellie's turn, and I'm just not a huge fan of and like I say, sequels are not better than the original. I feel like the original was good on its own merit, and it just doesn't you just don't need to go back into that point of time, because they really didn't on The Last of Us 2. I'm not going to give you any spoilers on The Last of Us 2 video game. I've seen the cutscenes, I've seen what happens, but still I'm not interested in playing The Last of Us 2. I replayed The Last of Us 1 when The Last of Us 2 premiered, and everyone was playing The Last of Us 2. I was playing The Last of Us 1 because I liked The Last of Us 1 story, and I felt like it began it and it ended, and there's no need for me to play The Last of Us 2. But you can go check out what I've said thus far on The Last of Us on my podcast. I'm Chris Don One Podcast. I'm going to give a review on episode 3, and it's definitely going to premiere this Saturday. So be on the lookout for that. Okay. Definitely be on the lookout for that. So we got 10 more minutes. I'm gonna try to squeeze 10 more or 5 more minutes of information, and then we're just gonna have to keep this pushing and keep it moving on. Basically, I haven't gone into the membership thing, and I told you guys a while back that I was going to change the membership prices and change what you can get from the membership. I guess now is a perfect time, once I'm done with this live stream or whenever, to go back and do the membership. And I'm gonna give you guys a full understanding on what benefits you have for becoming a member. So I'm probably going to, if not today, sometime this week, go in there, change the prices, and put in the description. Okay, this is what you're getting with these 3 tiers. I feel like the first tier is support, 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 support. All right, and not a lot is required for support. Support can mean different for a lot of people, but support to me is coming in, watching the live stream, watch as much of the live stream as you can, hit the like button, share it with your friends, family, and followers, and that's pretty much it. It's just the basic level of support. Just really just to be here, you support the content, you like where the content is going, you want to contribute just a little bit more. I feel like that's what the first tier is for. The second tier, on the other hand, I feel like that's more okay, you want to do a little bit more than just support it. Okay, you want to do a little bit more than just come in, watch the live streams, hit the like button, maybe dabble in the comment section and sharing it with your friends, family, and followers. But you want to do a little bit more, and you really do, so you really do folk with me. All right. uh that tier is going to be for the people that wants to do a little bit more on that level. I feel like the third tier should be a tier where, if I select the third tier, I should get extra. I should be different from the first tier. I feel like the third tier should be something on the lines of possibility of becoming a mod, a possibility of maybe if there's enough people that's that's picking the third tier, there should be giveaways. If there's enough people in the third tier, it should be for like I said, giveaways. Maybe if you're cool, I'll allow you to become a mod as long as you got the third tier. And maybe some exclusive content or live streams that are not going to be for the regular viewers. Maybe once a month doing that, or maybe once in a while doing that. It depends on how many people are selecting the third tier. Because at the end of the day, if I get everyone to just select the first tier, I'm good in the hood. All right. I'm good in the hood. I feel like the third tier, if I get like a lot of people to do the third tier, then I'm gonna have to change some things around my life. Now this is not a hobby or a part-time activity or a part-time job. This is really a serious full-time job. And I really want to, if there's a lot of people that's going to pick the third tier, then I'm going to have to do more and be more. Okay. Because y'all putting in a lot of money for that third tier. So yeah, that's all I want to say about that. I feel like I should have some clarity on that. But like I said, even if you don't pick the membership, as long as you hit the subscription button, select all, just come to the live stream. If you don't want to comment, that's cool. But just hit the like button. I'm not asking a lot. And I really do support anybody that supports me. Anybody that fought with me, I want to fight with them back. All right. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I was going to dabble into, and we can talk a little bit about this, about the police officers in Memphis beating uh, beating a black man's, and Gully TV said something interesting, and I watched his live stream, and he talked about it. He said, this will illustrate a perfect example that the white officers are going to utilize across the nation, saying, see, y'all can't say it's racially motivated. A white officer beating up on a black, uh, a black male or a black female, when look, your own kind is beating up on black men and black females. And I'm just paraphrasing, but I feel like this is going, and and he also talked about, someone in the comment section said, what happened to Black Lives Matter? I feel like those organizations are trying to stay away from this incident, because it's hard to scream out Black Lives Matter when it's black officers beating up on a black man. It just doesn't send the right message, just doesn't hit the same. But I do totally agree with Gully TV. A lot of white officers or white society is going to pull this and say, hey, look, they're going to present this as a picture and say, hey, look, y'all can't say all of these beatings were racially motivated when your own kind is beating up on you. Okay. So where's the energy? All right. Y'all had a lot of energy when y'all were accusing us as racist cops and dysfunctional organizations, but you have a black police chief. The individuals that beat that black man were black. All right. Where is the energy? Let's start being a little bit more consistent. And I've used that word for ice cream vlog, and a lot of people are totally against ice cream vlog. A lot of people think he's a racist, he's a clout chaser, this, that, and third. He disrespects the culture, and the only concern I have with ice cream vlog is, yo, man, just keep it consistent, okay? Just don't talk about CJ So Cool. Just don't exclusively talk about Mr. Organic. Just don't exclusively talk about Stunner Reese. Don't just exclusively talk about Rail to Real. Okay, there are white influencers out there that do the exact same thing that you are saying that these black content creators are doing on YouTube, but you don't say a peep about them. You don't say nothing about the Logan Pauls of the world. And I did a video on it. I did a live stream on that. I don't know if he saw my video. I don't know if he saw my live stream. But ever since I made that comment, I've been noticing a slew of videos where he's being actually consistent. All right. Okay. If you're going to talk about the black content creators, about their scams, about their giveaways being scams, these car giveaways being a scam, and their whole lifestyle is a scam. Okay, if you're gonna talk about these guys, okay, talk about your counterparts. All right. All I want Ice Cream Vlog to do is be consistent. And with these officers that beat this black man, you got a police chief that's African American in an African American dominant city. All of these organizations that's saying that there's dysfunction in a lot of these states where a lot of these a lot of African Americans are being beat up by police officers, police brutality. You got all this going on in these other states, and Black Lives Matter and all these movements and all these organizations got the smoke, they got the energy in those other states, but you haven't heard a peep from them about this incident. And I feel like the white officers and the white politicians, or just white society in general, is going to hold this footage like a canvas and go, okay, y'all say that we was racist, y'all say that we were dysfunctional, y'all say we don't give a F about the black community, but when your own kind is doing it, where is the energy? Where is the noise? Okay, so uh these organizations, the Black Lives Matter movement, all these organizations, come on, y'all need to step up. Y'all need to be a little bit more consistent. Y'all need to bring that energy to those officers. Y'all need to bring that energy and that light, that spotlight to that police chief. Because and y'all need to bring that energy for it's a dysfunction. They don't care about Black America. We we need that energy. We just need that energy because these guys have already been fired. These guys are facing serious charges. And now comes word that there's some more in-depth research to this. The story keeps evolving. Apparently, this guy has obviously been targeted because of a relationship he had with one of the officers' wives, wife. And that's what's being spewed on social media. And I saw Gully TV, and he was going in depth in it. And I can't confirm if that story is true or not, but if that story is true, then that just makes this situation even far more worse. All right. So these cops were just basically targeting this guy, waiting for the right time and the right opportunity to do this. And they were stalking this guy, they was targeting this guy. And then once they found a loophole where they could actually stop this guy, they this wasn't an incident where it was a normal traffic stop. They just happened to be on the scene, and they're stopping the car because and they check the person's information come, and then they think that the person was on drugs and this, that, and the third. This was targeted. This was planned, and they just wanted to get this guy out of the car and beat him, all because of him being in a relationship with one of the cops' wife. Now, you know, now at the end of the day, both of these men are not even going to still continue being around the wife. I mean, the guy who did the beating, he's going to be locked up for a long, long time. And what woman in their right mind would want to associate themselves with any of these officers, by the way? What woman's love is going to be that strong? I don't think a woman's love is going to be that strong to be associated with these men. A life was lost. And like I said, they need to drop the hammer and put these guys under the prison. Obviously, this and they had a it was a group called the Scorpions. Now, someone was telling me on social media that this is a common theme in a lot of police departments where, they have a task force that, that it's sort of like a gang, and they sort of tackle the high crime areas. So this is common practice in a lot of police stations. All right. But if that is true, you're going to see a lot of police stations disassociate themselves with these types of organizations. You're going to see a lot of police chiefs say eliminate that group. That, you know, we're done with groups like that. And this is going to have an effect where that police chief, she's going to lose her job because of this, because this was under her watch, because she knew about the Scorpion unit. And this is going to be under her watch. It's a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. A lot of people are going to lose their reputations. A lot of people just going to lose their freedom. Those black officers, they're definitely going to lose their freedom. And they're going to be under the jail. Now, the parents of the victim, they lost their son. There's no way they're going to get their son back. So, no matter how hard they go after these black officers and the police chief, and I guarantee you that precinct is corrupt to the core, and they're just going to have to just start all over. They're going to have to get another police chief, definitely going to get another police chief that's going to lay the hammer down and be consistent. And particularly with Memphis, Tennessee, that's the majority of that population is black. Is like Atlanta, and it's the worst time to have something like that. But like I told you guys, a lot of people are going to use this information and fuel their campaigns about police brutality, and if people are against Black Lives Matter movements, they're going to use this and say this, that, and the third. But whatever, this is just tragic, and justice is going to be served, and a lot of people are going to lose their freedom over it. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs over it. A lot of people are going to lose their reputations over it. Okay, this might even go as far as the mayor of Memphis might. It's just, I mean, this going to have tentacles and layers on it, and if it's true that the only reason why they beat him to death was he was in a relationship with one of the cops' wives, then that's I mean, if that is true, that's I mean, that's just sad. I mean, that is real sad. But yeah, there's a lot of people that's doing coverage on that. Gully TV did a live stream yesterday about it, so go check out his YouTube channel. A lot of people are doing live streams and videos about it. I think Kwame Brown did a live stream on it. Definitely Carcino for Life. He did, a live stream on it. But it is what it is. Well, it is the 2:00 hour. All right. So I've been on this live for like 2 hours. I really do appreciate everyone that came by, stopped and came by, said their highs, put their likes in, were entertained and very informed on the live stream. I really do appreciate that. Now I'm gonna tell y'all the next live stream is not going to be around this time frame. It's not gonna be around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, even though too early for this podcast. The founding episodes were created in this time frame. We're gonna keep it cracking and keep it popping. In the daytime, a little bit later. But I really do appreciate everyone supporting Too Early for This podcast. I really do appreciate everyone supporting the channel, the live streams, the videos. Hit the like button, subscribe, select all, so you'll be well informed when my next video or live stream goes down. I really do appreciate everyone coming by. Blessings and love to all of y'all. Shout out to the Dream. The Dream came by. Go check out her channel. Hit the subscription button. She got some very interesting content on there. And by the way, anybody that's a small channel on YouTube, if you want to come by, chop it up with me a little bit, get an understanding with me a little bit, and you want to want people to come over to your channel, just send me the link so I can check your channel out. If I'm feeling it, I'm feeling it. If I'm not, I'm not. But I'm still gonna support you either way. I'm still gonna support you either way. So yeah, that's all I got. I'll see you guys when I see you guys. I gave you guys 2 entertaining, funny episodes back to back, going back to back. Okay. Uh, I'll probably see you guys on the flip side of things. I hope everyone has a safe and productive weekend. I'm up out of here. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you for everyone that came by. Deuces. Outro.